Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for this conversation today about death and dying. I'm that dying guy. My name is Logan, and today I want to talk about how to support people in your life who are dying, things to say to them, things not to say to them. And for people who are going through this themselves, I want to give you guys that perspective or that opportunity to feel like you can advocate for yourself for the things that you want to be said to you, the words that feel comfortable and comforting to you as you're going through this journey. So let's start first with the what not to say category. Number one on this list is going to be, technically, we're all terminal. Amazing insight into human mortality. The fact is, though, that when someone is diagnosed with a terminal illness, that is a different mindset to be in than just being in the mindset knowing that humans themselves are mortal. Saying things like, I could leave here right now and get hit by a bus. I mean, yeah, me too. I could go outside too and get hit by the same bus. But that doesn't change the fact that it's most likely going to be my condition, and it's most likely going to be in the ways described as how my condition goes. So when you're talking to a terminally ill person, they are well aware of human mortality. They're probably more aware of human mortality than you are at that point. And it's good to keep in mind that saying things like, we're all terminal, unless that person is taking that perspective themselves, can be really harmful because it can feel like you're silencing their fears about the fact that they're dying sooner. Number two of things not to say to people who are dying. This one is a little less specific of a phrase. This is more of an idea. If someone is talking about their bucket list and it involves moving somewhere, try not to make it about yourself. I know that sounds harsh, but having a reaction like, well, what about me? How will I see you? How will I come see you? I don't want you dying far away from me. You can trust that the person who is choosing to move has taken that into account and is really hoping that you'll do your best to get out there to see them as much as often. And chances are they'll probably help you get out there to see them as much as often. But when someone is choosing a place that they want to pass, that is a very important and personal decision, and it usually reflects on things like family or things like their favorite memories, and they want to be in a place that brings them peace for when they go. So when you are hearing them tell you that they want to leave, they want to go somewhere far away, I know that that's going to hurt because you want them really close, but you have to understand that they want you really close too, but they need to be in this place in order to be at peace. So that's just something of a general concept we want to keep in mind is, yes, when someone you love is dying, it is about you in that way that you love them. But you can't let that get in the way of listening to that person talk about their own needs and what they need to get through this situation. Number three on this list of what not to say to someone who is currently dying. This is another more of a concept than an exact thing not to say, but when someone is going through this, there is a lot of emotions that they're processing, and they might not get back to you right away when you're messaging them asking how they're doing or trying to check in or trying to cheer them up. They might not message right away. They might not message back for weeks. I know that for me, I didn't message a lot of people back, and that was hurtful for them, and I have apologized and taken accountability for that. But for me personally, I was in a headspace where I couldn't message back because I was going through the stages of grief. Now, when we talk about the stages of grief, a lot of people associate this wrong and they think it's about after a person dies. But if you stop and think about it, that wouldn't really make sense because one of the stages is denial. And if it's happening after someone dies, what is there to be in denial about? The person is dead. So the stages of grief were actually created around terminal diagnoses and people going through that process of learning they don't have as much time left as they thought they did. So when you're going through these stages of grief, you're going to be angry, you're going to be in denial, you're going to be really, really, really sad. And the stages don't tend to happen in order like you would want them to, or like they appear to in the written literature. It kind of happens all at once, one after another, going back and forth between stages, you know. It's a lot to mentally process. And early on, the way I was processing it was anger, and was with denying myself security and safety because I wanted to push people away. I wanted to protect them from having to see me suffer, basically. I I wanted to protect people from having to see me suffer, and I was also so angry that as I was pushing people away, they weren't, you know, coming running to be right by my side, which doesn't make sense because if you're pushing someone away, they won't know if you want them there. Um, but going through this mental horrible journey at the beginning of my diagnoses was really, really difficult, and I was not reaching back out to the people who were reaching out to me. And a lot of them, they really understand. They really do. Some of them didn't really understand and were really hurt, but when I explained it to them, you know, things got better. And now that I'm moving through these stages of grief, still in the middle of them, but now that I'm moving through them fully with my support system and aware that they're moving through those stages too, and we're helping each other through these stages of grief, it's a lot better than, you know, isolating ourselves and doing it alone. I guess the third what not to say would be have patience, and don't let your own pain take over how you're framing what this situation is, because that's really easy to do in this situation. From my perspective, from my, you know, family and loved ones' perspectives, it's really easy to turn inward and feel your own pain and forget the monumental pain that there is around you, or feel like yours is more, or feel like yours isn't getting as much attention. And the fact is that a lot of the time, not everybody's pain can get attention at the same time in these situations. And it's a lot of give and take. It's a lot of being there for them in a moment, and they're there for you the next moment, maybe even moment to moment. So I guess this brings us to the what to say category of the evening. And as far as that goes, I would say there's no real handbook or step-by-step instructions of what to say to people. I think the main thing to do is just listen and approach with love and patience, just like you want to be. The people who in your life who are dying desperately want to feel that love, that closeness, and that patience, because I know personally from one moment to the next I can be laughing and then sobbing about the idea that I won't have these moments anymore. So what to say to people who are dying changes, and it's different for every person. But you'll know what to say because a lot of them will tell you. A lot of them will model it through their actions and their own words. And a lot of it will come from instinct if you follow your instincts of love and patience. These are people that you love, and they're probably going through a lot of changes medically that are very scary. Losing independence is very scary. Losing abilities that you value in yourself can be really devastating. And so being there not only to support them through that, but maybe even help them find accessible ways for them to still do things they love, going not above and beyond, but going, you know, the extra mile. I don't know how to describe it. It just being that person that you always are for them, because I know that if you love this person, you always are that person for them. So just being that person that you always are, and finding ways to include the person that you love, that's the most important thing. I know for me, I'm in bed a lot. I can't get up. I can't do a lot of the things that I want to do, even just go outside and sit in the fresh air. But I know that I still want to be invited. And more than that, I want to be invited to things I can do. So, you know, maybe instead of inviting me out, let's invite everyone in. There's a lot of options to make people feel included when they feel like they're grasping for as many memories as possible. And I know that I've been feeling like that and feeling really disappointed in the memories that I'm ending up with in my hands, because a lot of them are sitting in bed watching The Office, sitting in bed watching documentaries about things that really don't impact my life. And I desperately want to be out in the world with people, or at least having the world brought to me. So keep that in mind when you're interacting with the people in your life who are dying. As always, I'm so glad that you're all here. Thank you so much for joining this conversation with me. And if you want to have more conversations on death and dying, if you like what you see, make sure to like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. And comment down below, because I want to hear your perspectives. I want this to be a conversation. So let's do that. Let's have a conversation together about